Oh my God. Hang in there, folks. Only halfway through the show, so good to be here. I got a surprise $19,000 medical bill from my mother's nursing home this week. And I think for $19,000, my mom shouldn't have dementia anymore. Called them up. Why do I owe this money? She's your mother. That's not what she says. The second time I got called by the home this week. I got called first. My mom got into a fight. My 80-year-old mom got in a fight. I got called down to the office. So I run down there. I'm like, Mom, what happened? And she says, I don't know. Again, she has dementia. Her story checks out. You're moving nursing home. Here's what we know so far. It was over the last applesauce, right? Mom grabs it. Other guy yanks it away. Mom whomps other guy with her purse. Other guy punches mom in the back. I do not like that he punched her in the back, but he's in a wheelchair, she's not, so I'm prepared to call it even. I learned a very valuable thing about myself in this process. I learned I got a real Karen inside me, because the nurses were like, we're so sorry, we're going to keep them apart. And I said, see that you do. I said that to a human being with dignity. But you have to understand, this is my mom, okay? This sweet, kind, generous woman. None of these words describe who she was before she had dementia. My mother was a passive-aggressive bully who bullied anyone on behalf of her family, including her family. And I'm not about to let some veteran with a traumatic brain injury from the Vietnam War push around my mommy. So I take my mom back to her room. One thing they tell you to do with people with dementia to help calm them down, bring up happy memories. So I take out my wedding photo album, we start flipping through. She looks at my wife and goes, oh, she's so beautiful. And then she looks at me and says, I can't believe she dumped you and married him. He's so ugly. This is a real thing that my mom said to me on Monday of this week. Parents get older, it's very hard. My father actually passed away last year. Thank you. It was incredibly painful, but it's still the best way to get an apartment in New York City these days. You gotta understand, my father was my best friend. I called him every single day at 3 p.m. And now every day at 3 p.m. I reach for that phone and I realize he's not gonna be there. But 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, there's a balcony, a Central Park view. Rest in peace, Dad, I certainly do. My father lost a battle with cancer, and I'll admit it, we are disappointed in him for losing. Where's your hustle, Dad? It's like cancer wants this more. I learned 3 very valuable lessons from my father's death. Lesson 1, death is not like in the movies. I thought my father's last words to me would be some sort of really profound statement, right? And he pulls me close. Thomas, I have a question. Of course, Dad. What? Did you water the plants? That was it. That's the last thing my father ever said to me alive. And I said yes. So the last thing I ever told my father was a lie. And I really hope plants can't go to heaven, because he is going to be pissed. Second lesson is this: if your parents are still with us, you got a good relationship with them, get to know them. They had a life before you, and it was interesting. Someone sent a letter to my father when she found out he was dying. I had read it to him because he was so sick he couldn't even open his eyes. I'm reading it to him. It just says, Tom, we love you and Francis. You are the best friends we've ever had. We'll miss you forever. We'll never forget your kindness. And we, of course, will never forget how you helped solve Philomena's murder. If that last part was surprising to you, imagine how I felt. I did not know that my parents had ever solved a murder. I didn't know they had a friend named Philomena. That's a name that comes up. You'd remember it. I turned to my father. I was just like, Dad, tell me this story. Philomena, murder, what happened? And my father goes, oh, that. And never brought it up again. And he's dead now, so I'll never know. And I Googled it. Do you know how many women named Philomena have been murdered in this country since 2005? 20. That is 1 Philomena a year for the last 2 decades getting iced out there. So the third and most important lesson I learned from my father's death is this: if your name is Philomena, you run for your goddamn life. Burbank, you've been great. I'm Tom Brennan.